Hi everyone, this is Joan, and I hope that you have had a wonderful week, wonderful 2 weeks, I think, since I have been on. And always, so much is going on, it's really difficult to pick one topic and say, okay, I'm going to address that. But what I was looking at today is what was going on with this videographer, called, what is it? The Honest Truth. Yeah. And this guy who came on called Space Ghost Purpp or something like that. Well, anyway, I know I butcher people's names. It's just that names are, I'm one of the end of the baby boomers. So these names are kind of weird to me. And I think, when I first saw Purpp, I thought it had something to do with the color purple. And I thought, no, perpetrator. Oh, okay, I got it. Well, anyway, I think anybody who names himself perpetrator, you might want to look at him a little bit like, I better not leave my purse anywhere near this person or even my person near this person. But any case, he came out, this rapper, and he basically said he wanted to kill all black women or most black, something about murder and black women and the R word. Maybe I should have said the M word. I don't know. It's so many different ropes and things being tied around your mouth. You don't really, plus it's not like I talk all that much, but I've always noticed I don't talk a lot, but for some reason when people do actually listen to me, they just kind of stop. I can end conversations really easily, and I'm not really sure how I do that. But in any case, I had started listening to this guy, The Honest Truth, because I thought what he was saying was really, really interesting. And he said it without sounding like a gangster or something. So it was like an articulate young man. Wow, that's a deep one. And especially an articulate young black man who looks, black. He doesn't look mixed, who comes out and he says things that are supportive of black women. He even talks about the manosphere is pedophilic, and he shows what they would call an overweight black woman with a white man who seems to be happy with, they seem to be happy with each other. He talks about how, when winter comes, a lot of black men are saying winter's coming for black women. He at least is saying it's coming for everybody. And men hate women's dating options. This might be the same one. No, it was another one where he put up a fake profile. He had the woman's permission on Tinder just to see if men would be interested in a educated woman over 40. And I thought that was really interesting, so now he did tell a story about when he was homeless. Two people helped him. It was a white man who offered him a job that he couldn't take because he doesn't have a driver's license, which I noticed is fairly common. That became more common in the 80s with black men. Before that, black men were driving all over the place. Then something happened in the 80s or 90s. Maybe it was more the 90s, where pretty much every black man I knew, well, who I wasn't related to, they lost their licenses. I mean, they didn't pay tickets. They were driving while intoxicated for just lots of reasons. There were a lot of men starting in the 90s who just seemed to suddenly start losing their driver's licenses. So that didn't really surprise me when he said he couldn't take the job because he didn't have a driver's license. But he said the other person who helped him was a prostitute and that she let him sleep on her couch for 2 years. And I thought, well, were you paying her, or was she black? Was she white? That's all you were doing was sleeping on her couch? I don't quite understand this. That made me kind of question. It wasn't so much pandering. It was more like, I'm kind of confused. Was this a white prostitute? Or I don't understand. Anyway, why did it take you 2 years? You had to lay on her couch for 2 years? You couldn't pay anything for 2 years? And I don't know, you're very articulate, at least in my opinion. So, well, he said before that he had a very good job, and he had a girlfriend. He didn't specify black, white, green, blue, whatever. But he had a girlfriend. He was making enough money so he could fly her in. But then he said in the next sentence that they caught the bus. I couldn't figure that one out either. But, to me, a lot of what he says makes sense when you consider he's a Pisces. And, Pisces men, I think in general, when it comes to women, men fabricate things. But Pisces men fabricate things on a whole other level. You could ask them. It was a book I read, I think, How to Tell a Bastard by His Sign. And it didn't just pick on Pisces, it picked on everybody. And that's why I liked it. It was funny. But it said the thing about Pisces is that you could see spaghetti stains on their tie and ask them what had they eaten, and they'll tell you that they hadn't eaten. And you're like, but I see the sauce on your tie. And they'll say, I bought it like that. And you're like, you bought a tie that had spaghetti stains on it. And they'll say, yeah, I got it at the used shop. Well, you don't go to the used shop. I made an exception. They just lie for no reason. And I was married to one. And the thing about Aquarius is we don't catch lies. I mean, not too easily. You have to take a lie, take it out, shake it in our face, and make us look at it before we'll go, oh, wow, I guess that wasn't the truth. Because, Aquarius is all about truth. We will try to tell you the truth, so we're assuming you're doing the same thing. So my philosophy when I was dating was, if I have to police you, I don't need you. And I think, having that philosophy is probably good not to date, because you really do need to run a background check and have him meet all your friends, relatives, and, have her meet all your, whatever it is you're doing. But the thing is, this person, Space Ghost Purpp, said some extremely dangerous things about black women, and Cynthia G in particular. Cynthia G, regardless of what you might think of her, she definitely has charisma. You're going to notice her. And I think that's really great. That's a Leo trait. But in any case, he said these things, and then he called in the Space Ghost Purpp show. I'm sorry, no. Excuse me. Space Ghost Purpp called in the Honest Truth show, because I think the Honest Truth show had gone on to the show that Space Ghost Purpp had and was saying that he didn't agree with them. So Space Ghost Purpp went on the Honest Truth show, and that's what I heard. And he was stating just some inarticulate weird stuff. Who, you kind of like, yeah, whatever. He sounds like an intensified form of pretty much every other raper. No, I didn't mean raper. I meant rapper. I've heard. So the thing is, 10 years ago, I came online and made a video that I can't find. But I made a video, and I had mentioned it a little while ago, that I had seen where these black men were showing pictures of black women that they were using for target practice. And I was saying, this is not right. This is weird. But nobody really thought it was strange. And even before that, if you can remember the show that Diana Ross's daughter was in, I can't remember the name of that show offhand, but they just brought it back up and started playing reruns of it on Netflix. But anyway, they had the Tony Childs as one of the characters. I remember she was on the street. She was just walking down the street, and she was singing a rap song or something, and an older woman walked up to her and said, well, don't you think that's like demeaning to women or something? And she said, no, I think that's all good. Yeah, beat that hoe or something like that. She started singing the lyrics of the song. And I remember thinking back then, this is not good. You can't have people singing all these horrible songs and still have peace. And the black community is kind of like like the filter you have on your kitchen sink, how stuff runs through it, but some things catch. The black community is like that filter. The black community catches all the garbage and it doesn't let it go. Other nations, it kind of filters through. They might keep a little bit of it, but not enough to clog stuff up. But the black community, it gets clogged up. It's kind of like you cannot show a bunch of black men pictures. Like now, you'll see movies where a 90-pound woman will beat up 3 Navy SEALs men. Most white people will realize a 90-pound woman cannot beat up 1 Navy SEALs man. Not generally. She would have to have a few weapons, or he would have to be wounded, almost dead. But black men, on the other hand, look at that, and then they come back and look at a woman, any woman, not even, excuse me, not even a full-grown woman, it could be a child, just female, and they will say, well, she can handle herself. How can she handle herself? It is, I think, just because it's like another video I saw, and you probably heard this a lot too, where black men are saying we don't owe black women any protection. Well, I think I did hear it. Somebody say it on one of Cynthia G's channels, or one of her friends. And they were saying black men have never protected black women. And what I wanted to bring up, what I was trying to show, is people tear the Bible down. Now, at the moment, Cynthia G's people don't like, or they're upset with this guy, The Honest Truth, and they're showing all the stuff that he has brought up. But I think both of them tend to look at people who study the Bible as, everybody looks at people who study the Bible as, you must be stupid. But I think that there hasn't been any other book that told you black women were going to have problems in these last days. I mean, that's the only book that I have been saying for the longest, that the Savior warned black women specifically. You got a crowd of people out here. He didn't pick out anybody else. He didn't say, hey, you Latinas, hey, you Ling Ling over there. No, he said, hey, you daughters of Jerusalem. I might be misquoting, but you know what I mean. He said, hey, you black women over there, I'm getting my behind tortured. I'm about to, I'm about to depart this reality right here. Don't even cry for me, cry for yourselves and your children. Now, to me would have made me be like, oh my God, let me pray right now, because geez, this man is getting tortured and he's saying what's going to happen over here is going to be worse. What's going to happen? That would have been my thought. That would have been my reply if I wasn't, like just, preoccupied with the thought of what's going on with him. But the point I'm making, no other book has told you that. And somebody brought up, what was it? Fannin? Somebody. I mean, if you look at pretty much any of these intellectual men, black men, they all really don't like being black, and they kind of blame black women for it. And if you really read Genesis, not even the whole thing, just the Garden of Eden, it's pretty much showing you these black men you're looking at right here are sons of Adam. They don't like black women. I used to wonder when I was in the hall, why is Adam getting blamed for this fall when it was Eve who, took the initial bite? And the explanation I was always given at the time when I was in the hall was because, he had the leadership position. He's the man. He's got the brains. He should have stopped her. He should have done this, that, or the other. My thought is, if you really go back and read it, like if you were reading, I don't know, something that you had to check all the details, and really use your intuition to say, how would a real human being act in this position? It really reads very much to me like he was sacrificing Eve. Not sacrificing her physically, but in the sense that, okay, I know if I do this, I'll get in trouble, so I won't do it. I'll get you to do it. I will lead you to do it. I will, what is the word? You know what I'm talking about. So I think that that is what happened. And I think these men, one of these guys on one of these shows came out and basically said that black women should be sacrificed. Bible is telling you this is not new. Adam, this was his ideal. This was how he wanted to get over. And where did he want to get over to? Well, I had just seen that there's some book in the Kindle store about your preacher has failed you. And yes, I totally agree. And I think all of it wasn't totally in innocence. People who have power don't give up power easily. They don't. And men have been given power in this world. Like I said, this is a man's world, and I don't mean it as a compliment. I don't also think that this is a permanent thing. I really think that the Heavenly Father loves women to the point where he is showing us what it is like under male rule. And I do think that the books by Zecharia Sitchin, and no, I have not read all those books. Now, I do think that there's something to astrology. In the book of Enoch, it says that Enoch was shown all the months or something that alludes to astrology. So I do think that there's a lot to it. But my glasses are falling off. That's why. It's taking me a minute to adjust. I am a Pisces, Mercury. So that might be why I forget what I'm saying some of the time. Well, not totally forget, but in any case, the thing is, I can kind of flip through a book and say, okay, got the general idea, I'm on it. And yeah, Sitchin was telling you that it wasn't just Adam and Eve. And I'm telling you, Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, you cannot reconcile them. They were not the same creation. Genesis 1 was the creation of some narcissists, and Genesis 2 was the creation of Adam. And Adam, even in his perfection, I think, sacrificed Eve. Why did he do it? Because he wanted to be over there with the narcissist. And I'm really beginning to be of the opinion that, these black men who are coming out here telling you how much they hate black women, I had thought it was because let me put it like this. I had seen this woman about 10 years ago when I first started on YouTube. She had a YouTube video out. And at this time, I was really looking at the Hebrew Israelites. And that was pretty much the only men I was communicating with for the most part, were the Hebrew Israelites, because I thought, you have such great research. How have you missed that you shouldn't treat women like this? So I was out there arguing with them a lot. And I looked at other videos where they were arguing with a lot of other women, black women. And this one woman came out and she started talking about, I'm not listening to this, you prison logic people. That's where you got all this garbage from, because what you really want is each other. And I'm like, whoa, that might explain a few things. Well, when these black men get really, really upset at somebody like Cynthia G because she says stop having them, and they get upset with other people, I think they call it the pink pill, who say divest. I don't think it's because they're jealous in the sense of a man being jealous of a woman the traditional way. I think they're jealous because what they really want is kind of like you thought they wanted Becky. They really were mad because they thought you had a better chance at Brad than they did. I'm really beginning to feel like that because I looked at Cynthia G talking about this guy who was he's threatening to straight up murder people. I mean, he said he had a plan. He's going to go out. Now, I didn't hear that. I heard I heard her paraphrasing it on her show. He's already removed that. But, according to her, he says he wants to go out and the next black woman he finds, he wants to rape her. He wants to R her and I'm not sure if he said he wanted to murder, but it's some horrendous stuff. But she did play where he was talking to a white guy and trying to convince the white guy of how stupid black women are. I don't think especially white men, I don't think they think black women are stupid. I'm beginning to feel most people think black men are stupid. But the point is, I do agree with her that he was trying to turn white people against black women. And I don't think it's because he's jealous of black women diversifying. Was it divesting? I don't think they care about us divesting. I think, like one of them said, take all of them. I think what they're upset about is that they want to be us. I mean, we have been taught that white people want to be black because they go get tans, they go get implants, they do what they can to look like us. But like I said, I don't especially care for men wearing long hair, who is generally associated with maybe not totally long hair, but hair that takes a long time to style. Traditionally, that's a feminine thing. And they used to make fun of pictures of ancient Egyptian men because they put on eye makeup and did their eyebrows. What are men doing now? Putting on makeup, doing their eyebrows. It's also a thing for men to dress like women. They want to wear dresses. And like I said, the thing about society is the black race seems to be like the filter, the drain, like your kitchen sink drain. The black community keeps all the stuff. Other communities, it filters through. I don't know what music Asian people listen to, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to hear them sing about that Ling Ling Ho. I mean, I can't stand that B. Why her hair so straight? Why is it so dark? Why she do that? You're not going to hear that. You're not going to hear Maria. Why Maria got to be like, no, you're not pretty. Becky, why Becky doing? No, Karen, no. Not going to happen. It's only going to happen with black people, black women. And like I said before, the only book that told you that this is what is going to be was the Bible. So it's also telling you a whole lot of other stuff. And like I said, I started really reading for myself. And I was hoping to find other people who would just look at it and give me your opinion. And it's been 10 years and no, so far. But I am hopeful. But I think that this particular guy is not the only person who is threatening black women. I know that I saw a video where black men, not just one man, and it wasn't black men with long dreads and tattoos on their faces. These were black men who to me looked like you probably go to work with them or something every day. But they had put up, they were driving down the streets, I think. Now, you have to remember this was like 10 years ago I saw this. But they were driving down the street and they would show attractive black women and they would put targets on them like they wanted to shoot them. Now, I took that very seriously. And I remember warning my daughters who were like, yeah, shut up, Mom. You don't know they didn't say it, but kids can look at you like that. But I remember thinking, no, then, this is more serious than you think it is. And I think rap music more serious than you think. And the movies changed. You might have to be a little older or watch old movies to notice how much they changed. But when white people, I'm not even going to say white women because I can't remember the guy's name, but he came out and said that it was orchestrated that women should become women's libers because that gave the powers that be, the bankers and such, the ability to tax both men and women. Before, if women stayed home, they could only tax one. But if we convince the women to get up and go to work, then we can tax both of them. Plus, it gives us their children. Nobody's there to watch the children, which is another reason why I think black men have gone straight up mad when they said, you can't smack your child. Okay, let me not say smack your child like, kids just sitting there and you just walk up and go whop. But let's say you cannot discipline them the traditional ways. Okay, it used to be that black women had such firm control over their children that black women would go into retail stores and stuff, and their kids would walk along beside them peaceably. It would be other races who would walk into stores, and black women would be quietly laughing at them because they'd be screaming, "Timmy, stop that, Timmy." Whereas a black woman would be like, "I'm going to spank your little butt if you don't learn to sit down here and behave." And that taught something that is sorely lacking right now, and that's discipline. And I think that boys especially need to be disciplined from an early age. If they aren't, they grow up, like they used to say, just buck wild. But anyway, back to the movies. I think the movies also very much detrimentally influence the behaviors toward black women, and that even though you don't even see many black women in movies even now, I remember, I think it was about 20 years ago, I was looking at a movie. Not a movie, it was a TV series or something. And they had a brown-skinned black woman in it. And I was like, whoa, that's great. I mean, I'm surprised. And then, they beat her up. And I kind of started looking at movies thinking, whenever they bring on a identifiably black woman, they tend to smack her or something. Like the spook who sat by the door with Paula Kelly. She was the prostitute. She was brown-skinned, but the other woman he really liked was a light-skinned woman from, whatever. But that's kind of how that worked. But then it's like they figured, they see this happening, so they changed it. And, even beyond that, what happens in the dominant society in the movies was that at first you didn't really see movies where women were fighters, or not even movies like TV series. Like it was something with Robert Wagner and Stephanie Powers. And all I can remember is she used to run around. They were married and they were detectives or something. And every week she would run around screaming, "Jonathan, Jonathan." She, instead of trying to fight, she was always screaming for her husband. And he always came and, fought and did whatever it was that needed to be done. That's how it was then, where your women were not your fighters, your men were. But then it changed and they said, hey, let's make the women fight too. Let's go beyond making them fight. Let's make them beat up men. Now, if you've been seeing women running and screaming and crying for their husbands, you might want a change, a little bit of a change. But, now they'll show you a 90-pound woman who beats up 3 Navy SEALs, with her bare hands because she knows judo or something. It really doesn't work like that. I think, though, that men of other races understand it doesn't work like that in real life. Most men know that they can handle a woman if she's not armed or something. Black men seem to feel like, in the movie, she fought like a man. So anytime I see a woman, I don't have to be nice to her. And one of the problems I have with the whole ideal, like I said, my sister used to always say, see a fool bump his head. Well, white people, when they decided to go to Africa and go get slaves, I think that's kind of what they were saying to themselves. Like, hey, if these people are silly enough to sell their own people, well, then I'm going to bump their heads. And I think that the man who raped the woman on the train with the other people sitting there had pretty much the same idea. It's not that she's a fool. is that she's not strong enough to stop me. And these other people out here don't care enough to stop me. So, I'm going to do what I feel like doing. And that really does go into the Satanist creed of do what thou wilt. Thou shalt be the whole of the law. Do whatever you want to do. They started telling you that too in the 70s a lot. You cannot have a whole world of people doing what they want to do. What if what they want to do is you, like that man on the train? So I totally am against this, see a fool bump his head, see a sucker lick it. Nope, you don't need to be licking all the suckers you see. You're a sucker too. Everybody's got a sucker somewhere, something in you that it's like astrologically everybody has a Neptune. So, I believe in, do unto others as you would have done unto you. A biblical quote. But in any case, I still think that the guy, what is his name again? The Honest Truth. I still think he has some very good content. Now, whether or not he believes his own content that he has at this particular time, I don't know. He might not. You really cannot look at YouTube videos and say definitively good or bad, because most people have some of all. And, I used to look at videos and think, well, this guy has got to be an agent. He could just be misinformed, or he could just be wrong, or he could have a blind spot, or who knows. But I do know what you said in this particular video, and I do like what you said here. I'm not talking about any particular video. I'm just saying that as far as I see. And is he really a secret agent for the manosphere? Might be. I don't know. I ain't trying to marry him. I ain't got to live with him. I do have to live in a society where people like this need to be put in check. But as the Savior said, it's probably more of them than who aren't like them. And before, my honest advice to women who were dating, or women who wanted to have, who had or wanted to continue relations with men, I thought, well, I think it's Hosea 4:14 where God says, well, I'm not even going to get mad at the daughters of Israel when they sleep around, because the men they're doing the same thing. What are the women going to do? Well, yeah, I kind of agree with that. If you just feel like you got to have somebody, it doesn't mean you got to be with you 24/7. But on the other hand, I'm also looking at it like domestic violence is really rough. I saw a movie or series or something. I don't even remember what this was. I can only remember it was one scene with this guy. It was a black man, a black woman. He had sex with her. Then they woke up and he killed her. He cut her head off or something. He was sent to kill her because of some kind of a gang problem. Two gangs fighting or something. So I think even sleeping with them, you have to worry about, just because somebody sleeps with you does not mean they like you. It could also mean that they're narcissistic to the extreme, to the point of being a psychopath, and they can also sleep with you and kill you. So I did also want to make another point, and that is that the thing with the Honest Truth was, to me, he had content that really included all women, because I think a lot of times the younger generation of women feel that the older generation of women did not have to deal with what they're dealing with. And women have always had to deal with the things that are happening now. The difference is we didn't have the percentage that you younger women are dealing with. I mean, it's the statistics I think I heard on femicide it's a black woman being killed every 6 hours. Black women were always being killed. It wasn't every 6 hours. And I'm not trying to belittle it. I'm just trying to say, don't think that your mother is stupid. Your mom managed to live this long. And I guess I'm saying this because I'm a mom. And like I said, when I first saw that 10 years ago, first thing I'm doing is trying to tell my daughters, be careful out there, because every man who smiles at you doesn't like you. And to a certain extent, like I said, I think the problem that a lot of our men are having is jealousy. It's not jealousy the way your boyfriend, you want your boyfriend to be jealous. You want him to feel like, well, he's got to keep his game up because he doesn't want to lose you. It's not that kind of jealousy. It's the kind of jealousy like like I said, I used to argue with Hebrew Israelite men a lot on YouTube when I first started. And I deleted all my old videos because just a dumb thing I did. But I was arguing. I wasn't even arguing with this guy. I was agreeing with him. And he kept attacking me. And I'm like, I tend to step back for a moment and think, okay, is this really happening? Is this guy really arguing with me? How can you argue with somebody who's agreeing with you? So finally I got frustrated and I wrote, face it, God didn't see fit to give you a JJ, so don't be jealous of mine. So he was like, no, everybody knows women are jealous of men. No, I'm beginning to feel like, nah, you're not jealous that kind of way. You want what I have. You don't want it just to, reproduce with it or have fun with it. You want it in the sense that you feel some kind of way that I basically think maybe what you really want is a white man. And the closest you can get is a white woman. So you feel like she'll suffice. But I really am beginning to feel like that. And, I admit. So I'll leave you with this set of scriptures that I've shown you before. This is Isaiah 3. And this has been used by Hebrew Israelite men to beat up women for the longest. Well, actually, I can't say for the longest because I do believe that there have been changes to the Bible, and I truly don't believe I saw this scripture 10 years ago. But then the scriptures came out, or maybe they were already there, you know what I mean. But in any case, it's at this point, maybe about 10 years ago, I started hearing black men reference it and use it against black women. And this is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16 onward. Says, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cauls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose pearls, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass, that instead of sweet smell there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle a rent, and instead of well-set hair baldness, and instead of a stomacher a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. Okay, they have said, oh, this is daughters of Zion. I still say, when has the Heavenly Father been mad at women for trying to look pretty? Nope. He did say, however, it is not good for a man to be going around trying to dress like a woman. And I know it is only me saying I'm sick of these men with the long twists and the long dreads and the eyeliner. They are also wearing dresses and stuff. I think he's telling you about the men. And I think he's telling you, just the fact that right here, it makes an abrupt stop from apparel to your men. Your men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. I'm bringing this up because things are coming, and it even begins with The Lord of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. Okay, they have all these ships out there that can't land because of this people not taking the sea venom, and so they won't let them land. In any case, what I'm trying to tell you is I think that, as I said, I think that there will be a kind of a siege on Jerusalem. And I think, well, not on Jerusalem, on black communities. And like I said, the black community seems to be like a drain, and that the bigger problems stay here. We may not have made them, but when they pass through, they don't leave. So this is, as usual, stuff for you to think about. And, I really do appreciate any comments that you have. And as far as the arguments, or I guess basically maybe it's a feeling of betrayal. I feel like we haven't had enough time looking at least I haven't, looking at the Truth Channel, even though he has changed his, as Nyla says, who he has really sang the praises of on many occasions. As Nyla says he has had like 5 different identities. Yeah, probably. But that being the case, and even though he might be a panderer, I don't know. You really don't know who anybody is. You only know what they say. I do totally agree. He could have said a little more. He could have said a lot more to this particular guy. And it could be a symptom of him secretly agreeing with them. Because I often refer people to the screw fly solution, because to me that was the best representative of a catastrophe befalling women. So basically what I'm saying is, yeah, he could be a panderer, an agent, he could be a whole lot of different things, but some of the stuff he said has been useful. So I would not want to throw out the useful stuff with whatever failings he may have in character, because, nobody is perfect. But I think that in order to really figure out whether or not somebody is worthy of your attention, is you have to give them a little more time. That's just what I think. Or maybe you think he's already had enough. But in any case, I do recommend this particular episode to you, because this is the only thing I've seen that showed women what could happen to women. And I have said before, there were towns in Germany, I believe, where during the witch hunts, where they killed all the women. I've said that I think several times. And also there was a village in Africa where I think what happened was some foreign crews or something came in to build in that particular village. And when they came in, the men started raping the women. So the women would go home and the men would get mad at the women. They would not go beat up the people who raped the women. They would be mad at the women. So they would beat up the women too, or something to that effect. So the women were like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm getting beat up. I'm pregnant. And, this is just wrong. So the women all left and formed their own village. They formed their own economy. And the point of the video was, well, one of the points was the men were like, please come back, or please let us in. And the women were like, And I do think that might be something that could happen, or maybe something that even should happen. And I would love for someone else to look at it and tell me what you think. So comments are very much welcome. Now I prefer if you don't threaten my life or anything. But like I said, comments are very much welcome. Okay, so this is the FBI threat line. So if anybody wants to report the threats that this guy made against black women and Cynthia G in particular, this is the information on how to do it. So yes, I'm going to do it because this is unacceptable. I think that we have to care about each other, and we have to feel that if you threaten my daughter, my sister, my niece, my mother, you have threatened me. You have threatened my community, and that you really are not part of the community if you have that particular mindset. So I encourage anyone else, to do so, because that woman on that train who got raped in front of all these people, that could have been anybody. That could have been any woman. And we have to look out for each other. We have to think of each other as important and a priority. So this is just some stuff for you guys to think about. Oh, and please pass the information on. I would love it, of course, if you pass on the video, but in particular, pass on the information on how to report a crime. So you guys, be prayerful. Oh, and as somebody once said, what is it? Walk softly and carry a big stick. Well, you might want a stick that goes boom. So, something to think about. You guys have a great day.